from public life. A West Virginian is saved by TikTok. And in sports, Ohio volleyball says goodbye to a star player. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Nick Veland and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. The family of celebrity zookeeper and TV host Jack Hanna says he's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and will retire from public life. In a news release today, his family indicated his dementia progressed quickly during the last few months. The 74-year-old Jack Hanna was director of the Columbus Zoo from 1978 to 1992 and still serves as its director emeritus. Hanna is also well known for his live animal demonstrations on late-night talk shows as well as his own syndicated show. His entertainment work boosted the profile of the Columbus Zoo, leading to an increase in attendance over the years. The West Virginia Division of Natural Resources plans to stock tiger trout in mountain states, lakes, and streams. They plan to stock 25,000 tiger trout. Some are trophy size at 4 pounds. They'll be stocked with other trout species at a rate of 10%. Tiger trout are a cross between a brook and brown trout. They are known for their unique markings that look like tiger stripes. And luckily, the weather is looking good for fishing this weekend. Right, Aaron?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Erin Ashley, bringing you today's weather. Right here, if you look at the mid-latitude cyclone that is formed across much of the United States right here, you will see that this storm will produce inclement weather into tomorrow and heading into our evening. But for now, let's take a look at right now in Athens. The temperature is 78 degrees, partly cloudy skies, humidity at 35% and pressure at 30 inches. This means that we are in for a very pleasant evening and overnight as winds come from the southwest direction, 0 to 5 miles per hour, very steady, very pleasant spring-like weather. Across the region right now, you can see the southern part of our area has very warm, mild temperatures in the lower 80s. And up towards the northern part of our area, you can see that that kind of lessens, but still very mild temperatures, 79 degrees in Newark as well as New Lexington. Some headlines for the next couple days. Mild temperatures do linger, but this will bring about some storms into tomorrow and into our weekend. Back to you, Nick.
An Ohio mom who is an undocumented immigrant is pleading to get out of jail after being locked up for nearly 2 years. A county judge has already said she can go free, but U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement says she has to stay put. Courtney Francisco breaks down what is happening with the case.
These are the only pictures those who are fighting for Sarah Mendez Morales could find of her. She's been locked inside the Butler County Jail for nearly 2 years.
And it's just really horrifying to know that she stood up against so much, and then she was still punished in a way that just goes beyond belief.
The mom wrote Sarah Leibler from jail because Leibler is an advocate for Ohio Immigrant Visitation Group that helps those in Immigration Customs Enforcement custody communicate with loved ones.
This is the first letter that she sent me. She felt like no one could hear her, that the things that she was saying didn't matter, that everyone had made up their minds about her, and that there was no hope.
Mendez Morales is 34 years old. She has 2 children, ages 11 and 4. Court documents say she started working at the age of 6 on farms in Guatemala after suffering sex abuse and human trafficking. Her attorney, Kim Alabasi, says her client ended up in the United States in 2007 and in Ohio in 2013.
Just trying to get her life together with her children, found out that her partner was abusing her oldest daughter.
Supporters say the mom, suffering from cancer, reported the abuse to a doctor at her chemotherapy appointment in April 2019. Less than 2 weeks later, police arrested the mom for child endangerment.
She had tried reporting him a few months earlier, and he broke her phone, he beat her up, and he locked her in a room for 3 days.
Mendez Morales took a plea deal and finished her sentence in August 2020. Because she's an immigrant without a visa, ICE held her in jail, even after a judge said she could stay in Ohio because her life would be in danger if she returned to Guatemala.
This is somebody who was victimized her entire life. I mean, it's a very long, horrific story.
In emails with her attorney, ICE agents say they will keep her in the Butler County Jail because she was complicit in child abuse. Her attorney appealed that decision, and the mom has filed victims of trafficking paperwork that would provide a path to permanent residency. I'm waiting for a response from ICE. Advocates say Jobs and Family Services is working to give full custody of her children to foster parents.
We have to understand that she was making decisions that many of us will never have to make in circumstances that many of us will never understand.
Mendez Morales' attorney has appealed a decision to keep her in jail. Her lawyer has also filed paperwork providing her with a path to permanent residency since she was brought to the United States as a victim of human trafficking. A man from Guysville is dead after one vehicle crash in Athens County. The Athens Post of the Highway State Patrol says 59-year-old Daniel Huffman was driving south on County Road 47 around 7 p.m. last night. It's reported Huffman slid off the right side of the road, struck a log, and was ejected from his 1964 Jeep. He was pronounced dead at the scene by the Athens County Coroner's Office. The Highway State Patrol says it's still investigating what caused the crash. The cause of golfer Tiger Woods' life-threatening crash has been announced. Today, officials say in a press conference that Woods was traveling almost twice the speed limit at 87 miles per hour. This video shows where the points of impact the car hit throughout the crash. The captain of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department said there is no evidence of rush driving or sudden increase of speed.
I know that there was allegations of an incident that occurred prior to the collision, which I reviewed video footage, and he was, I watched him on video walk out to his car, put his personal belongings in his car, and drive off the property. And he was driving very normal, very slow, as he began driving, to the point where it didn't appear that he even hit the accelerator. He took his foot off the brake and allowed the car to roll away. He made complete stops at 2 stop signs and stopped for a traffic signal before entering the highway. And so there's no evidence of any increased speed or rush behavior.
The chief also said there is no evidence needed for a field sobriety test, and Woods did not receive a citation. A drive-by shooting at an Akron home has left a teenage boy dead and another wounded. City police responded Tuesday afternoon to the Neptune Avenue home after receiving reports of shots fired. They found a 17-year-old boy outside the residence with apparent gunshot wounds, including one to his chest. Another 17-year-old boy was found outside a nearby gas station with wounds to his hands and buttocks. Both were taken to the hospitals, and one was pronounced dead yesterday. A motive for the shooting remains under investigation. A third person has been sentenced in the death of a Chillicothe woman killed when she was struck by a log thrown by 2 teenage boys in Hocking Hills State Park in 2019. Miranda Spencer received a suspended 90-day jail sentence Tuesday after she pleaded guilty to obstructing official business. The 20-year-old Nelsonville woman initially was charged with a felony count of obstructing justice. Schaefer, a 44-year-old photographer and a mother of 4, was taking photos at the foot of the stairs of Old Man's Cave when she was struck. A letter-writing campaign is underway after the second high-profile hazing death in Ohio, and a child in an ATV crash was saved by the live stream. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
On Hemingway.
Whatever happened to him now, he considered of no importance, as long as he could write.
World War II leaves lasting scars.
He had seen so many things that he could not unsee.
A classic masterpiece.
Everything about him was old, except his eyes.
And a descent into darkness.
The history of mental illness in the family had to be on his mind.
Don't miss the final chapter of Hemingway. Only on PBS.
Last night was a tragedy.
Akai Gurley was shot and killed by police officer Hida Liang. The charges are manslaughter in the 2nd degree. As the Chinese officer said, they threw him under the bus.
My nephew's life was taken.
100,000 Chinese Americans come out.
What do you want?
It is not because he's Asian that we're going after him. We were going after that institution that killed Akai.
Down a Dark Stairwell, Monday, April 12th at 10/9 Central on Independent Lens.
Who's our president? Trump's our president! Fight for Trump!
They stormed the Capitol.
They were hostile. They were venomous that their country somehow was being taken away from them.
And plotted to kidnap a governor. terror plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
And so you think the guys were planning to arrest her?
It was going to be a citizen's arrest. Frontline and ProPublica investigate the rise of far-right extremism. Tune in or stream starting April 13th, 10, 9 Central, only on PBS.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Las Vegas, Hour 1. We're looking back at Roadshow's second trip to Sin City.
I made a very good investment, didn't I?
You did.
Wonderful.
Oh my God. I'm stunned.
Wager a guess on which items changed in value since 2007? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Las Vegas, Hour 1.
Universities across Ohio are taking part in a letter-writing campaign this week. The campaign is support of Collins Law. Reporter Ada Azalian tells us about the Ohio bill and the letter-writing campaign.
In 2018, Kathleen Wyant opened her door in the middle of the night to 2 police officers and a chaplain.
On behalf of the Dublin Police Department, we regret to inform you that at 3 a.m. this morning, your son, Colin Wyant, was found unresponsive at 45 Mill Street in Athens, Ohio.
She says she immediately recognized the address. It was a house multiple members of Sigma Pi lived in. Her son had joined the fraternity just months before.
Months later, we began to learn details that led up to Colin's death, and we learned that for the last few weeks of Colin's life, Colin had been beaten, he had been belted, he had been waterboarded, he had been forced drugs, he had experienced extreme hazing.
And now 16 universities across Ohio are taking part in a letter-writing campaign in support of Collins Law.
Collins Law is an Ohio bill that would increase penalties for hazing. It's currently a 4th-degree misdemeanor, but if Collins Law is passed, hazing would be a 1st-degree misdemeanor or a 5th-degree felony if the hazing causes physical harm. This would mean more jail time or a higher fine. And if passed, Collins Law would also
enhance the education of the dangers of hazing and also bring more transparency to the instances of hazing that have been taking place on our campuses here in Ohio.
Molly Davis says she started the campaign because it's something she's passionate about. She says one of the reasons for this passion is the idea that hazing is a Greek issue.
Hazing is not just a Greek issue, it's not just a college issue, it's an issue everywhere.
For WOUB, I'm Anna Azalian.
For more information about Collins Law or to find the letter-writing campaign template, go to woub.org. A live stream accident on TikTok becomes a life-saving moment spanning multiple states. Jeremy Roth has the story.
A New Hampshire teen is being credited with helping to save a boy's life, and he did it from roughly 800 miles away. Caden Cotnoir was watching a live feed of one of his favorite TikTokers riding an ATV in West Virginia when disaster struck.
All of a sudden, his phone goes kind of blank, you can see a little bit of light, but brown, leaves. And then you can just hear him, yelling.
The boy had rolled his ATV and was pinned under it, and the camera was still live streaming.
It was pretty, sad to hear. He's scared that he's not going to make it out.
Caden heard the boy yelling out a phone number and took action. He and his parents notified the boy's family, and they were able to locate and rescue him soon thereafter. Now, the pair share not just mutual interests, but a bond forged from a life-saving, life-changing, live-streamed moment.
Trent Jarrett was trapped under the ATV and only has some minor injuries. The boys met Monday on Zoom. Cancer research for dogs may lead to the new discoveries from humans. That story's still ahead.
Warm temperatures are here to stay, but will showers and storms dampen your outdoor plans this weekend? I'll discuss this and more in my full forecast, but for now, let's take a look at stocks of local interest.
Last night was a tragedy.
Akai Gurley was shot and killed by police officer Hida Liang. The charges are manslaughter in the second degree. As a Chinese officer said, they threw him under the bus.
My nephew's life was taken.
100,000 Chinese Americans come out.
What do you want?
It is not because he's Asian that we're going after him. We were going after that institution that killed Akai.
Down a Dark Stairwell, Monday, April 12th at 10/9 Central on Independent Lens.
On Hemingway.
Whatever happened to him now, he considered of no importance, as long as he could write.
World War II leaves lasting scars.
He had seen so many things that he could not unsee.
A classic masterpiece.
Everything about him was old, except his eyes.
And a descent into darkness.
The history of mental illness in the family had to be on his mind.
Don't miss the final chapter of Hemingway. Only on PBS.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Las Vegas, Hour 1. We're looking back at Roadshow's second trip to Sin City.
I made a very good investment, didn't I?
You did.
Wonderful.
Oh my God. I'm stunned.
Wager a guess on which items changed in value since 2007? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Las Vegas, Hour 1.
Who's our president? Trump's our president! March for Trump!
They stormed the Capitol.
They were hostile. They were venomous that their country somehow was being taken away from them.
And plotted to kidnap a governor.
A terror plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
And so you think the guys were planning to arrest her?
It was going to be a citizen's arrest. Frontline and ProPublica investigate the rise of far-right extremism. Tune in or stream starting April 13th, 10/9 Central, only on PBS.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is forecaster Erin Ashley. Let's take a look back at this visible satellite image. You can see this mid-latitude storm that's developed across much of the United States and will bring the cause of thunderstorms for tomorrow. In fact, some of our region is at a marginal risk for tomorrow for severe weather, so be prepared and plan accordingly for that. The hour by hour for tonight, 8 p.m. will be 75 degrees with some light cloud coverage, bringing you to 10 p.m., 66 degrees, with those overnight temperatures staying pretty mild in comparison to the past couple days. Midnight will be 61 degrees with some steady winds. Overall, very beautiful night. If you look at tonight in Athens, 56 degrees will be our low with some thick clouds developing later on throughout the night, but generally very pleasant conditions with winds coming from the south-southeast direction at 5-10 miles per hour. If you look at across the region tonight, the lows will range in the mid-50s across the majority of the region, with the outlier being in Cambridge. 52 degrees will be your low. Tomorrow morning in Athens, 8 a.m. you'll see a temperature of 56 degrees with some rapid warming. So be prepared when you take your kids out to the bus stop. You won't need that coat for today. 10 a.m., 67 degrees with some increasing cloud coverage as we head to noon. It'll be 75 degrees with that chance for rain starting to appear as clouds begin to thicken, so be prepared. Tomorrow in Athens, the high will be 78 degrees with some gradual cloud coverage afternoon tomorrow with some thunderstorms possible. Winds come from the south direction at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Across the region tomorrow, very high, mild temperatures, very spring-like across the majority of the region with 75 degrees in Ironton all the way to 82 degrees in New Martinsville. The jet stream for today looks exactly like this. In this image, the jet stream will dip down into the southern part, which will bring about this nice high pressure system. Very, very, very pleasant weather today, but tomorrow you can see that this cold front is going to be pushed into our area, which will bring about that inclement weather and those showers. And on Friday, you can see that a warm front is present across right here on the left side and the right side of our region, which brings about a chance for storms, but that'll be on Friday. And if you look right here at the 7-day forecast, 78 degrees tomorrow on Thursday with a 50% chance of precipitation and the chance for thunderstorms. Heading into Friday, it'll be 76 degrees, 30% chance of rains. Heading into our weekend, those temperatures will stay pretty mild, 77 degrees, as the chance for thunderstorms and rain will increase to about 50% and will linger into Sunday, 30% chance of rain, 68 will be your high. And early on next week, you'll see that high of 72 degrees. And then later on Tuesday, you can see 66 degrees, and on Wednesday, 63 degrees. Back to you, Nick.
Thanks, Erin. It's Studies show animals can help their owners increase their exercise, lower stress, and decrease loneliness. But clinical trials involving dogs with cancer could improve treatments for humans too. Mandy Gather explains in today's Health Minute.
At Ohio State University, researchers at the Blue Buffalo Veterinary Clinical Trials Office are working to help sick pets and potentially sick humans. Video of the research being done here was taken before the pandemic, but still continues today. Several trials are currently underway, including one involving the drug neratinib, FDA approved for the treatment of breast and lung cancer in humans. Researchers here say they've determined half of canine lung cancers carry the same gene mutations they do in humans. The treatment is given to dogs that already have cancer. Other cancer therapies are also being studied.
There also are some new chemotherapy drugs on the horizon that have shown some really interesting results in our dogs with naturally occurring cancers that have both relevance to treating our veterinary patients better, but also helping improve the treatment of people with the same types of cancers.
Dr. Sarah Moore says the research conducted in clinical trials is critical to fight cancer and other diseases in animals and humans.
The possibilities are really endless in terms of where things can go from here.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gather.
Blue Buffalo Veterinary and Clinical Trials Office also treats pets with other diseases like diabetes, even illnesses similar to ALS.
And in sports, the Ohio field hockey team had to deal with a lot of adversity in their match over the weekend. Find out what the Bobcats had to overcome when Newswatch returns. And here's a look at what's coming up on your local television station.
On Hemingway.
Whatever happened to him now, he considered of no importance, as long as he could write.
World War II leaves lasting scars.
He had seen so many things that he could not unsee.
A classic masterpiece.
Everything about him was old, except his eyes.
And a descent into darkness.
The history of mental illness in the family had to be on his mind.
Don't miss the final chapter of Hemingway. Only on PBS.
Who's our president? Trump's our president! March for Trump!
They stormed the Capitol.
They were hostile. They were venomous that their country somehow was being taken away from them.
And plotted to kidnap a governor.
A terror plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
And so you think the guys were planning to arrest her?
It was going to be a citizen's arrest. Frontline and ProPublica investigate the rise of far-right extremism. Tune in or stream starting April 13th, 10, 9 Central, only on PBS.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Las Vegas, Hour 1. We're looking back at Roadshow's second trip to Sin City.
I made a very good investment, didn't I?
You did.
Wonderful.
Oh my God. I'm stunned.
Wager a guess on which items changed in value since 2007? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Las Vegas, Hour 1.
Last night was a tragedy.
Akai Gurley was shot and killed by police officer Peter Liang. The charges are manslaughter in the second degree. As a Chinese officer said, they threw him under the bus.
My nephew's life was taken.
100,000 Chinese Americans come out.
What do you want?
It is not because he's Asian that we're going after him. We were going after that institution that killed Akai.
Down a Dark Stairwell, Monday, April 12th at 10, 9 Central on Independent Lens.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Michael Roth. The Ohio field hockey team fought an uphill battle over the weekend against Appalachian State. Due to contact tracing, the Bobcats only had 10 available players, and neither their head or assistant coaches were at the game. Despite being forced to start a goalkeeper at forward and having only 10 available players, the Bobcats fought all game and fell 2-0 in a competitive match. the Bobcats could only create 3 shots on goal, playing a more defensive style to account for their lack of experience and depth. The Ohio field hockey team is scheduled to return to action this Sunday when they travel to Longwood for 2 matches. The Ohio volleyball team concluded their season after a loss to Western Michigan in the MAC semis. This brings an end to setter Vera Yakimatsi's career for the Bobcats. Aiden Crowley has more on her 4 years in Athens.
Ohio senior setter Vera Yakimatsi is finishing her career with the Bobcats. Her senior night ceremony in the Convo was incredibly emotional for her.
It was really emotional with the video of my parents, with Dean giving me the jersey, Coach Sano walking me, Tia crying her eyes out while she's giving me the flowers. I've seen Tia crying probably 3 times in my life.
After the Bobcats defeated Kent State to help them get closer to a MAC tournament appearance, Yakimatsi took some time to reflect for herself.
I stayed a little later in the locker room while everybody left and just, looked around and took a few moments for myself.
The transition to Athens, Ohio from Italy wasn't easy for Yakimatsi. She initially had some trouble adjusting to speaking English with her Bobcat teammates.
Learning little things just that are nuanced in the English language, that when you come in as a freshman, that you may say something that would have been the perfect thing to say in Italy, and I just translated it. And man, that didn't land at all. That actually went really sideways.
After the Bobcats lost to Western Michigan in the MAC semis, Yakimatsi's Bobcat career came to a conclusion, but she has bigger things to look forward to.
We're going to miss her. She's going to go on to do great things, going to grad school, back in Italy. I tried to talk her out of it a few times, but no, seriously, we're happy for her and to be able to continue her life and with the great work ethic and everything that she already has, I feel strongly she's going to be successful in everything that she does.
Yakimatsi will go down as one of the best Ohio volleyball players ever. Thanks, Aiden. The Ohio softball team's schedule is being affected by likely April showers. The Bobcats series against Toledo has been pushed up to a doubleheader on Friday with 1 game on Saturday and Sunday. This is due to expected rain in the Toledo area. Ohio fell to Toledo in the MAC championship game back in 2019, the last season of MAC softball. Another sport is having their schedule adjusted due to the expected rain, this time in the Athens area. The Ohio soccer team is now set to kick off against Kent State at 2 p.m., 2 hours ahead of the original 4 p.m. start time. This game is the Bobcats' penultimate match of the regular season. Ohio is looking to snap a 4-game losing streak. After a couple of beautiful days here in Athens, it seems like rain might hinder Bobcat athletics in the coming days. Back to you, Nick.
Thanks, Michael. The Ingenuity helicopter on Monday survived its first night on the freezing cold surface of Mars. This is an image of the helicopter as seen by Perseverance rover. They're both on Jerzo crater on ancient lake bed on Mars. Temperatures there can drop to negative 130 degrees. That's low enough to do significant damage to the helicopter's electrical and battery components. Ingenuity separated from Perseverance on April 3rd. Now that it's on the Martian surface, it has been 31 Earth days to conduct up to 5 test flights. The first test could be as soon as April 11th. The Ingenuity will attempt to rise above 10 feet of Mars in the air, make a turn and touch back down.
And if you look right here tomorrow in Athens, there will be a high of 78 degrees with potential for thunderstorms. As you can see right here, gradual cloud coverage will start around noon tomorrow. Winds do come from the south direction at 5 to 10 miles per hour across the region tomorrow. Very mild temperatures in the upper 70s, lower 80s across the entire region. 75 degrees in Chillicothe, 75 degrees in Jackson, as well as Ironton, all the way to Marietta and New Martinsville at 82 degrees. If you look at the 7-day forecast, you can see it's very mild temperatures throughout the week. Chance of precipitation over the weekend, but sunny skies will return. Back to you, Nick.
And that does it for our evening broadcast. Have a great night. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.
See this patio? There used to be a
Support comes from Goldsberry Wealth Strategies in Athens and Parkersburg.